Okay, bought an N-scale building here, 5 stories. Show you how we're going to add lighting to each of the floors. Went ahead and put it all together with the exception of the sidewall. Did flooring here. And flooring, some of these are the security envelopes that you get in the mail. Different patterns on there. And used marker and painted them in. A couple of them I just used paint. But I want to put lighting on all the floors. The first thing I did, left the sidewall off, held it up, and then I put a mark where each of the floors are going to be. Now I like to use the copper tape for the flooring on the layout, but in this case I'm going to go up the wall. What I've done, I took 2 pieces of my copper tape and I cut them just a little bit shorter than the overall height, and then laying it across here I can see where my floor is going to be. So I'd put little dots if they'll show. I did this with red marker. But show me the solder points. Now you can peel the backing off and stick this directly to the wall. You just have to watch that you don't get too much heat and melt the plastic. I'm going to be a little bit of a chicken. I've got a piece of thicker cardboard, and what I'm going to do is solder my LEDs to the strip here and then peel and stick in place. So where I put the dots indicate position of the lighting. So we'll put a little bit of flux on a couple spots here. And the flux will help the solder to flow better. Cleans off any dirt or oxidation. One strip I've put a little mark on it. I want to identify it as the positive side because LEDs are polarity related, so you have to make sure you get all the bulbs on the same plus side of your power. Get a little bit of solder. Pliers help keep the heat down. Now that's a little bit crooked, but we can straighten that out later. And just follow through with your additional LEDs. We got my fingers in here, right? I got 2 of my plus sides put in. A little bit more flux. Slip them together. And once I get everything soldered in, we can spread this out a little bit and make sure we don't get a short circuit between the positive and negative. I like to use a pair of pliers. Now keep any excess heat from getting into the LED. And just continue this on up to get all the bulbs. If you've only got a 3-story building, just put in 3. And like I said, I've got 5 different stories plus the little top loft, so I'm gonna have 6 on here altogether. We'll finish soldering these and come back with the next step. Okay, got all my LEDs soldered onto the strip. This one up here is a little shorter lead, and what I did, I found a while back some replacement bulbs for Christmas trees. Be a little shorter. I'm going to put it in the top part of the building. It's a fairly small area. So take the back wall here, and where we marked the location of the floors, just peel off the backing of our tape. And sometimes it takes a moment to find the tab. Right here I've got a couple windows. I'm going to go just in between the windows. And don't worry if your tape gets bent up, because as we press it down you'll get it nice and flat. Come around the back side, see if we can get our tape off of here. Yeah, if we can get a hold of it. There we go. But as we tape this down, just make sure you have a space between the one strip and the other, so you don't have a short between the two. Like I said, if you're daring enough, you could put your tape down first, but you got to be real careful you don't melt the styrene on the wall. And we get this down. Now I already went ahead and soldered on my power lead. Got a red for the positive, black for negative. For this one here I used some telephone cable, and this one is the 6 wire. And the reason I did that was I'm not going to use these right now, but my extra leads, I can use them. I can control my light, so if I want to have one on, one off, I've got the additional wires. Just solder the wire to the LED that you want, and then cut your copper so you can come up with individual pads for your power. But for now I'm going to start out, I'm going to light all of them at the same time, so just one common strip for positive and negative. So at this point you can double check See if you have to relocate, bend a little bit. This one here, I'll bend it down. Now give me the room. As long as your wires aren't touching, you're not going to have a short circuit. So at that point, you can go ahead and put it together and have your lighting for the building. Alright, give a test lighting here. Said for this one I used telephone cabling. The extra leads will allow me to separate the lights at a later time if I want to put a timer on them, have them coming on and off at different times. So turn out the lights and take a closer look. The copper tape is pretty nice because it sits pretty flat, and you just run it up along the side of the wall and solder your LEDs in. So you're not just limited to leaving it out on the layout table. You can run it up along the inside of the walls and get some easy lighting for different floors.